our FixedIT Data Agent, which is an application that you can use for monitoring your devices. So essentially what this application does is that it runs in your camera and it collects a lot of metrics about your system. And then it is pushing that over a protocol to a database that you can host somewhere, either in the cloud or in your company network. And here you can create Grafana dashboards and alarms and so forth to keep a track of your cameras both proactively and reactively to see how they are doing and that everything is fine. And if we go into this one, we can see it's running, it's currently pushing data to our InfluxDB server.
We have system overview, which is the high-level overview of all devices that is connected to your system. We can see that in my case, we have 7 devices. Again, here we can filter on the different fields to narrow down our scope. We can see that we get a notification about missing devices. This is devices that has been connected to the system before, but during this selected time frame of the last 7 days, we haven't had any reports from these devices. We can see here the last time they sent something to us. We can see new devices during this time span, no new devices at this moment. We can see outliers. So we can see that these 2 devices here are quite worrying from this aspect. They are the most extreme outliers in a bad way, and this one is sticking out in one way, but it looks just fine. And we can also see some averages here per the type tag that we have specified. And all of this we can of course filter. For example, we can filter by the Sweden region, and then we see that right now we have 0 devices in this one. If we select the Lund region, then we have 3 different devices, and all of them have the same type, so we just get 1 here. If we now want to look closer into one device, we can click on this link here and we get directly to the device details, which was one of these other dashboards that we had in the cameras folder. And here we can select which device we want to look at. We can select 2 of them and compare to, but this is really intended for deep diving in a single device. But now since we click the link, we automatically get the right camera selected. And here we can see the model name of the camera. We can see the geotags. So we see that it's in the area of Europe, Sweden, Lund, and our office. But if we have multiple different type tags, we can see at what duration the type tag was changed, so we can see exactly what it had at what point in time. We can see the device uptime here. So we can see that it has been restarting a few times. Right now it was 10.2 minutes ago we started this device. And this is the one that we factory resetted over here. We can see the amount of free RAM. We can see the amount of free CPU over time. So this is good for investigating the health issue of a camera. We can see the external IP address and the local IP address in our network. And we can see the DNS response times to investigate any network issues. And we can see the DNS connection status here. So when this is false, the device is on, but we don't have any network. And we can see that we have some gaps here where we don't have any data. That is because the camera has been turned off and applications hasn't been running. But the application is caching up data locally. So if we have a time without internet connection, such as here, for example, from the 8 in the morning, the 4th, all the way until 12. We had no internet connectivity, but the application continued to sample metrics anyways. So you can see here that we do have all the metrics for this time span too, even though we didn't have any internet, because the Edge agent is buffering it local, and as soon as we get internet again, it is backfilling the Grafana dashboards. And the last dashboards that we haven't looked at yet is the overview of devices. So here we are listing each device individually in a way that makes it easy to overview. So we have the host names, we have the product and model type. We have the access OS version that is running on it, the external IP address of the network it's located on, the local IP address that it has, and the last time we had a ping from it. And here we can see the different access OS versions. So during this selected 12 hours, all of these has been using the same version. Here we can see that we have been making upgrades and downgrades. So we started with firmware 12.4.68 on this device, and then we upgraded it to 12.5.5, and then we downgraded it again to 12.4.68. So this makes it very easy to see what firmware it had at a specific point in time if you experienced a bug back then. You can see some CPU and RAM usage metrics here at a high level, and some other metrics here for each device currently. So we can, for example, see that this device has a very high SD card usage and a very short uptime. So that might be something interesting to look at. And also the storage is very full.
So in the FixedIT Data Agent, you have the ability to create your own scripted workflows for your own use cases that should be handled by the data agent directly on the device. But for this use case, what we want to do is to have an HTTP input, which make a request to GitHub and gets the status of our job. We then want to do a transformation to transform the response we get from GitHub API to a color that our strobe should show. And then we want to use this color to send it to the Vapix API, which will actually change the color of the strobe. So let's then start with uploading files. So let's start with the agent configuration. This tells the agent how often should it do the sampling. So let's enable this. Let's upload an GitHub input. So if we enable this one, and we still need an output. So there we can see that we get data from our API request. So let's do the transformation to extract the color that we need. We'll set the default value to yellow, and if it's successful, we will set it to green. If it's a failure, we will set it to red. So now let's add the last interesting part here, which is the strobe output. So this is the one that will take this color value and affect the state of the strobe. Let's enable this one, and now you should hopefully see the strobe here behind me light up, and yep, there you see a green light from our strobe.